Oh boy. God, it's that kind of jam that just makes a Monday. Good old times. Love a good funky time. Hello, 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 my friends. Welcome. Good to see you. What are we listening to today? I kind of want to keep it retro a little bit more. So let's go with something else that's just equally as fun as that was. As you can see, still at the old place. Look at that. Still chilling in the old studio. It's there's a little less stuff here. My door is open. There we go. It's, you know, we're still getting there. We've got most of our move going and good to go. Now we're just figuring out internet stuff. For now, I am still streaming from here though. So it's is this? Why wasn't this sealed? I don't like drinking from an unsealed water bottle. I'm gonna put this down for a little bit until I get truly thirsty for that. We don't have anything here. That's why I have this water bottle. But we still got the good times. I am still here to talk some Star Citizen with y'all, and honestly, I'm gonna start us off with some cargo stuff because we know that that's coming up. I have no idea where I'm gonna start this as a Q&A, so we're just gonna kind of we go right in right now from this exact moment. So today I wanted to just join you guys here on the stream and chat. It's like no news going on. ISC and SCL are not happening. It's actually kind of the quiet time of the year in general for games, although we're about to hit a good time. I still call it E3 week. I'm not sure what to call it anymore. Summer Games Fest, whatever, is next week. So like in terms of gaming, there's about to be some good news, but Star Citizen's pretty quiet. I thought it'd be a good time for us to, on one of these, you know, normal Mondays where we just kind of chill and talk, we could do a little Q&A, talk about what's going on with Star Citizen right now, what's coming up, and what to expect the rest of the year. But also just like answering questions from chat. Question in brackets. I can't say I'm going to hear or see all of them, but I'll try to keep up. I'm probably going to fall behind pretty quickly though. And we're just going to, I'm probably just going to pick the most interesting topics and we will look into them, dive in together. There's tons and tons of resources to go through, as we always do. So I hope you're down for a little bit of snooping. Welcome aboard. Thank you for getting us started off with subs, Jules. Good to see you, dude. Been here for a good long while, man. 5 months on the sub, though. Thank you. All right. Who's up in here? Vastin and Zero and Bearded Brigand. Fish Sticks. Echo Zeppelin. Echo. Who invited that guy? AAK, how you doing, dude? And Lee, Shifty, always first as usual. Reese with the Toes Gang. Reese holding down the Toes Gang. All the way from the Bay Area. Good to see you guys. Welcome in, everybody. Slayer, Casper, Whiskey. Much love to you guys. Thanks for jumping in, Notification Gang. We appreciate everybody who's here. Dancing in the beginning because the song is sick and it's disappointing when I know nobody's dancing. Although I don't think I'm as disappointed as Vassin is. This is that guy's Monday energy. Do I like sushi? I love sushi, man. That's a good question. Good question, Steve. Or sorry, that's a good answer. Good answer, Steve. Ask your question in this format for Tomato to see them better. That's Mrs. Tomato. That's not a question. Do I think engineering will make bigger ships defunct as solo ships? And oh, I see. If or if not, why? If or if not makes me feel like a confused computer program. I don't think it'll make them defunct, but I do think it'll make them, I guess, not worth it is kind of the same as defunct. Yes. They're going to have to, if they're tightly balancing the, man, I look like a little child in this camera like this. Hold on, can we just zoom in a little bit? Cool. All right. I think that for engineering, if they're going to do all of this stuff correctly, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to base building, to crafting, to all this stuff, to balancing out like insurance payments and hangar fees and all that, it's gonna have to be tight, right? Not like there's no room for error, but I'm thinking they're gonna need to make sure that if you take out a really big ship, you are doing something that can pay for that big ship. And like, I don't think you can pay for a big ship with one person in that big ship, you know? Like, you can fly it around, but in order to pay for a Polaris, you're gonna probably want to need to blow up and kill a bunch of stuff, because that's what it's good at. If you want to like pay for an Orion, you're gonna have to be able to crunch a bunch of mining rocks in a certain amount of time to pay for the fuel and stuff. And that's all part of engineering too. Like, if you want that Orion to operate at its top efficiency, crack every rock perfectly, do exactly what you need it to, an engineer's probably going to need to be there, making sure components and mining lasers and stuff are all up to tip-top shape. And that means you have to be able to pay that person. So if you were by yourself, you probably wouldn't be able to keep that stuff up to tip-top shape. You'd be flying, mining, and engineering, and you'd be spending all your time and not make enough money per hour and probably not be able to pay your fees. So I think if they're doing the economy correctly, that'll keep big ships from being solo ships. But you can give it a try, and if you got unlimited money, by all means, go ahead. Do I feel like the Zeus DPS is underpowered compared to its competitors? I have no idea what its DPS is. I actually wouldn't even trust it until they brought it into the game. You talk about the... What's the MR? Yeah. You talking about the MR? No idea what the DPS on this would be. Why didn't it pop up from Urkel? Mr. Urkel. Has less firepower than the Cuddy Blue. I wouldn't focus too much on firepower for a bounty hunting ship. I don't know. I don't know what its DPS is. I'm not great when it comes to combat questions, to be honest. Orgs, are they worth joining one? Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't have to do anything to be in an org. You just have to sign up. Might as well have one. It's like you're not tied to it. You can leave it at any moment. So if you don't want to be in it anymore, you don't have to. I was in an org for like 3 years before I ever talked to them. And then after 2 years with them, I left. And that was just the way it is. What kind of ships do I think they save for last? The Endeavor. Whatever ship is being finished last is always the Endeavor. See, now that's what happens when you zoom in. I need to realign these cameras, these different views. Is this the Space Tomato stream? It is, Plasma. Welcome. Do I think revives and regenerations on medical ships will end up being based on a consumable item or charge that needs to be replenished? Something like it. Yeah, there will definitely be resources attached to regeneration. If they're going to allow for a lot of regeneration, they've got to limit it in some way. Doesn't that kill ships as a means of progression? It kills going from small ships to big ships as a means of progression, but they can also have small ships that are easily doable with a solo person that does the same stuff as big ships, just in chunks. So instead of going from a Gladius to a Polaris, you can go from a Gladius to a, I don't know, a Saber Raven. Like, it's still a single person ship, but it does something that's more advanced. Maybe that's not as good an example. Maybe a Gladius to a F8. You know, it's still that single seat fighter, but it's, I guess, more capable in its class. There will be some aspect of, like, you can't pilot the biggest ships or progress to the biggest ships by yourself. You will be able to some extent because of things like AI blades or NPCs, but I wouldn't look at big ships as being the long-term progression. There are going to be a lot of other things that you can do, and just contract people with big ships to help you out doing them. Do I think server issues could be helped if they allowed for salvage to occur closer to stations and outposts? Maybe. I think that they need to use salvage as a means to clean up the server, though. What do I think is causing the game to be so busted right now? At this very moment, I have no idea. I only just learned that it was really bad after Invictus launch week. Like, today. I didn't realize the servers were so bad because I haven't been playing the game for a while. We've been doing a lot of talking around here. And that playlist is done. Let's jump into a... Nah, let's go with something more chill. Balanced economy is such a pain to build. I wouldn't know. I've never tried and I never will. Closest I'll get is SimCity. You wonder if stuff like the Polaris would make money, like how an aircraft carrier doesn't make money, but you still want one anyhow. It can be your toy. Like, all of these ships can be your money sink too. You could just fund your hobby of blowing other people up if that's your style. That's what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm make my money in some ways and spend them in others, right? Gotta make money for base building, so maybe you can also make money for shipbuilding. You think you're seeing tunnel vision on not wanting to see players with larger ships? Completely oblivious to what that would do with the PR of CIG with players. I'm not saying I want to see players with larger ships. I'm saying that's what it looks like it's happening. Do you think the lack of services that are org-oriented is currently detrimental to the current state of the game? Yes. Absolutely. What kind of gameplay do I imagine we will get with personal hangars and freight elevators? Mostly cargo missions for now. Eventually, we'll get... Maybe they would do missions that make you, like, time the market to teach you more about using those places for storage. I think if they were going to do, like, missions that were meant to teach you the game at a higher level, that would be a mission that they could do, but that's a weird one. I don't know how they'd work that. Other than that, though, I think it's just cargo missions for now, and then we have to find ways to use it to do the stuff we've already been doing. You have the C1 for the looks, Zeus for the cargo. Now you have the Ironclad for both. I do, by the way, I'm not saying that players won't have larger ships, because there will be options for like NPC crew and AI blades, but I don't think it's going to be as much of the progression as players think it'll be. I think it's going to be a lot sideways more than up in terms of ship size. You play progression on the pledge store? Nice. Good. That's healthy. Kidding. Do I think they'll make another ship so the Endeavor doesn't have to be last anymore? I think we'll get more ships after the Endeavor has been made. But I don't think the Endeavor is going to be the last ship ever made for the whole game. I guess I more think it'll be the last ship that is made of the ones we know about now. Which is dumb, because a lot more ships are going to be introduced by the time we get the Endeavor. So, no, it won't be the last ship. Do I think we will feature exploration gameplay during IAE? What do you mean by exploration gameplay? Any updates on the Mirai Guardian? I don't even know what that is. That's a leak? Is that the Mirai ship from the CitizenCon video? When will 4.0 be in first test phase? Oh boy. What's the date? I'm thinking maybe we start seeing 4.0 testing late July, maybe. Not much to go off of on like why or when we would see it. So it's just just tossing a date out at this point. We have no updates on it whatsoever. Last monthly report wasn't super insightful on it. And when I say it, I mean server meshing, because that's what defines this patch. We should be getting a monthly report this Wednesday, so we'll probably go over it on stream on Friday, and maybe we'll hear some more there. But if we don't, I would assume 4.0 is nowhere near going to testing. Do I think data mining and or leaks will ruin exploration gameplay in the future? No, I don't think so. It's really easy to not be affected by that stuff. If CIG has things that are like first come, first serve, and nobody ever gets to experience those things, then yeah, it would ruin it. But I think most people will never be exposed to those. Tree, thank you for the membership on YouTube, dude. Appreciate you. Folks, if you don't know Tree, now you know Tree. He also does a lot of analysis of Star Citizen, looking back, checking things out, talking about it, got a podcast. Check out his channel. Give him a look-see. You can't do shout-outs on YouTube, but you can see the name. I know you can. If they handle it right, you won't be able to just run a large ship solo. You're saying I'm wrong. You will. Just won't be on part of a full player ran ship. Agreed. Do you think that that base building will be the only form of player homes, or do you think we'll still get apartments in cities? I think we'll still get apartments. I think they will do the whole building interiors thing. Hold on. All this is apartments in cities kind of stuff here.
Fairly modular in a way in which we could create a variety of combinations. So whether it's living spaces or habitation spaces or social spaces. And also here we're looking at, we want the players to eventually be able to populate the player-owned habitation. So you see here like a first indication of how, the sort of dressing styles that you'd be able to do. Outside of something that's fairly utilitarian, we also want to do something that could be fairly high-end. So here we're just exploring some ideas about what a space could feel like on a different architectural style, and more generous windows, interior spaces dedicated to more than just habitation. And these would be focused on other landing zones. So imagine you come across these in Area 18, or it could be when we come to Terra. And also, like I said, it could be informing future player-owned habitation architectural sets. Now,
yeah,
outside of the...
They are focusing still on living in cities, and I think that's actually going to help a lot with things like the distribution centers, too. Do I think the rate of new ships released per year will drop to perhaps 1 or 2 per year post-launch? They've dropped it quite a bit, at least in terms of the concept sales. I don't know about straight to flyable. I think they'll probably... They want to do... I'm working on a video where Chris said... he said he wanted to do bi-weekly content drops in the game, which is crazy. They're not going to do that. But it sounds like he does want to do very often updates to the game. So I'm assuming they're probably going to try and do a ship with every update at least, if not multiple ships. See if it's somewhere where he talks about. I don't even know where he talked about it in here, but
made privateer and freelancer great.
I'm not even gonna look for it. He says it somewhere in that video, something about bi-weekly content drops, and that's a lot, man. But that was a different time. They were trying to make a different game at that point. What ships do I have pledged? It's a lot, man. Not a lot of ships, just a lot to remember. I think, it's not just pledged, they're also referral rewards. I couldn't tell you all of them off the top of my head. Actually, I guess I could literally just drag this over here and look at it. Let's see. Let's see. What's the official list? All right. Ships wise, I'm going to tell you the ones that we actually have pledged because I haven't looked at these in a while. Okay. Referral. So the last ship that I pledged for was July 11th, 2023. That was the... Wait, what? Oh, no, that's the last time it was given to me? Oh, no, this was gifted to us. Okay, sorry. That's not a pledge. We don't have any pledges. All right, here we go. We got the Scorpius. Which... Why? We have the MSR. We have the Pisces. Okay, Scorpius, MSR, Pisces, and Saber Raven. Those are our pledge ships. Those are the ships that we have actually like put money towards, but we have a lot of referral bonuses and stuff too. And I guess that's clogging up the hangar. I gotta melt those. Hypothetically, when base building comes around, you'll be able to craft ships. How do you think they will have motivation to craft versus buying them and the other way around? Purchasing is going to be fairly limited. So like if you wanted to get a Crusader ship, you might have to come all the way to Stanton. So it might be a good ability to, if you were a few systems away, be able to build a ship. But that would take a while anyways. I don't know. That's a good question. That's probably more MMO related, which I don't have much experience with MMOs. I would say, though, if anything, the ability to buy a ship would probably include better insurance rates and... gosh, like the insurance rate, I think, is the biggest thing you could expect. And it would probably cost less than the value of the materials you'd have to collect for the crafting. But I don't know how they'd balance that. Anton, so the Aaron Halo belt is a belt of asteroids around Stanton. And it separates the inner and outer system in the Stanton system and acts as kind of a gateway between the two. So it's really tall and it's really dense, so you can't just quantum jump straight through it. You either have to fly up and over it, which is crazy, or you have to go through the gates that are operated by ArcCorp, I believe, and basically take the shipping lane. So that's a huge bottleneck in the system. You can see here's the Aaron Halo that goes all the way around. And they've got it labeled right here. And it sits between the inner two and outer two planets. ArcCorp and Microtech versus Hurston and Crusader. Don't know how they're going to do it. Or like what their ideas for it are. But they have shown us the gates in development. So I do think that it's still the plan to include them. But the interesting part of it is I'm wondering if they will... not, I mean, this is like a security checkpoint, right? So if you're a lawless person and you're tracked in this system and ArcCorp doesn't like you, are you going to have to always go up and over this asteroid belt? Like, how hard is it going to be for you to be able to get in and out of the inner system if this Aaron Halo belt is guarded like that? Or are there holes inside of the asteroid belt that you can find and go through yourself? They could do a lot with this thing. Missions, smuggling missions, and other things like that. But who knows? They haven't talked about it in years. Last thing we saw about it was like 2020. Interestingly, though, on the monthly reports last year, we saw that they were developing quantum travel obstacles. So basically things that would be in your way when quantum traveling would actually physically block you and cause problems. That's the kind of thing that would be important for the air and halo belt to actually matter and make you go through gates. So maybe the tech is catching up to the actual design. I'll show you guys what they showed us back when they did. I just tweeted this out, which might be where the question's coming from, but this is the only real footage we've ever seen of this. And you get a good sense of the scale. It's massive. And you can tell that it's R-Corp from the logo over here. Dense asteroid belt. We don't know much else besides that. So it could be, they could do anything with this. Who knows? The Air and Halo belt, actual asteroid belt, is already there. You can go in game and see it. It's not as dense as this, I think, but it is in game as a location. Very popular with miners. That's like asteroid miners, not children. That'd be weird. Do you think that the rate of new ships released? I already read that one. What's up, Abdi? Hey, dude. Bi-weekly sounds like quarterly update shipped week by week. Just split it up. Just chop it. Has his bowl cut always been that bad? You just noticed? Don't diss the bowl cut, dude. And all bowl cuts are good bowl cuts. Probably less about the topics, but do you think CIG will be just as open about their development after 1.0? Good one. I don't think so. No. I think they'll have more reason to be less open after 1.0 goes live, and less reason. I think they'll have less reason to make themselves be as open. You're newer to SC. What do you mean by melt ships? Just trade them in for store value. It's actually pretty cool. I think it was Dead Leader I was talking to last year on the podcast who brought up this point that you can purchase something from Star Citizen and then a decade later you can turn it back in for cash value for how much it was when you bought it, or maybe even a little more in some cases, which is extremely nice in terms of return policies. It's not necessarily a return, it's more of a trade-in, but it is nice that you can just basically keep on melting ships for their value in the store and then put them towards other things. And so when somebody says melt their ship, that's what they mean. I wouldn't advise doing that. It's a slippery slope, and as a new player I would just say play the game, don't worry about the funding and all that. But if you ever do get bored with the ship that you bought, make sure that it does not have a game package on it. Don't melt your game package, but you can trade ships in for other ships, kind of. How big is the Air and Halo belt? Probably pretty big if you can see it from this far, but this isn't to scale, so I don't know, because those planets are probably not that big. This game seems to have a lot of placeholders. It does, yes, because they haven't gotten around to the content complete part of the game. They're still building out all the back end and features, so a lot of the stuff they just put in as a working model of the feature or place, and then they were like, okay, move on to the next. How much more firepower do you think the Perseus will be compared to the Galaxy? A lot. The Galaxy isn't really much of a firepower kind of ship, is it? Perseus is made to take on capital ships, I think. When will they sell the Arastra again? IAE in November, I would assume. Melting is like having skins in Counter-Strike. You could sell them and get something else back. Yeah. In a perfect world, what would you want to see in 1.0 release if you had a guess? If you had to guess how many patches? How many patches until 1.0? Brother. I would... A lot. A lot of patches, man. Like, even just counting major patches, I think we have at least 10 more. Including minor patches, I would I would think 15 to 20, if not 15 to 25. But they are definitely picking up cadence faster than I expected. And I think that is partially just feeling the pressure. I think they want to get this to the next stage. And there's a little bit of not anxiety to move forward, to be honest. I don't know. It's very easy to read that from what's going on, and I'm sure a lot of other people have come to that conclusion, but you get a little bit of that sense of, I think they are heading into a very natural process of expanding and improving the game and getting it towards a 1.0 release. But I also do think that they are doing their final preparation for it earlier than I thought they would, if that makes any sense. I thought we would still be in the 2022 to 2024 phase of development for like at least another year and a half, 2 years. You bought a package a while back and there's a personal hanger included. Is that not used anymore? Or have they said they are doing with that? You're going to get one of these hangers whenever the game goes 1.0. It basically will allow you to have that version of whatever hanger it is in the place that you want. I don't know if it will include the hanger fees or insurance for that hanger, but you do get the hanger itself, so you wouldn't have to buy it in game. When the game does happen, these persistent hangers that we have, you're going to have to either buy or rent them at locations. You won't just be able to have one wherever you go. You can stop off at a hangar, probably pay for the storage of your ship and your goods, but you don't necessarily have the home there like we will in our home location in Stanton. So having a hangar attached to your account means you'll have another one, or maybe that first one. I don't know how they'll do that. Yeah, so what would I want to see in 1.0? You rock. You know that? You want to know about the Titan suit? As we always do. I don't think we'll see the Titan suit until literally the release trailer of Squadron 42. Whatever trailer they drop at CitizenCon, or the one or after CitizenCon, I think we'll see a Titan suit in there. Probably just a flash of one. They're trying to keep it under wraps. Yeah, so 1.0, perfect world. What do I want to see? Obviously at least 5 systems, but I would love to see more. 7 to 10 would be nice. I would want to see Terra as a strong starting location with dozens of hours of gameplay in whatever part of the game you want to play. But also, I think Terra should be split up into quadrants that allow for there to be some pretty hefty stuff you can do in Terra, as well as very safe areas you can go. Then I would want to see Pyro, Nyx, and Stanton in there as a mix of dangerous to safe systems in commercial and frontier land. Probably, I would wish Odin, but I don't know if they're going to do that. That would be awesome. And Magnus, if we could, please. Now, I know Castra is in the running as well, but I would love to see Magnus. In terms of gameplay, I want to see all the professions. Data running, mining, salvaging, exploration, as it were. Racing, bounty hunting, crafting, refining, refueling, tugging. All these things, I think, should both have missions that teach you how to do them at each level, as well as good sandbox opportunities that are spawned via simulation. That simulation should be running an economy that we can actively tell is changing throughout star systems. We should have enough support to be able to see those changes and act upon them as cargo haulers or traders, logisticians, whatever. Base building should probably be one of the main focuses of the game at that point, base building and crafting. The idea of base building, crafting, and also the missions surrounding the ground locations should be based on an information system that should be affected by data running. So data running shouldn't just be box missions, but with data. I think that data running should have actual data attached to it, actual things that affect the game, whether it's survey data or comms data or whatever it might be. I think that stuff should be interlinked with data running. There should definitely be probably a dozen mission givers at least, with, I would say, like over 50 hours, 50, 75 hours of content between them all in various levels of danger and shadiness. I don't know. These are all, like, I'm just coming up with these off the top of my head. I don't have a 1.0 wish list or something like that. I've seen various ideas of what it might look like, and what I can say is they're working on it right now. They're working on the actual roadmap for 1.0, just like they gave us the one for 4.0 a long time ago. The ideas of 4.0 on the progress tracker, they're going to add a bunch of 1.0 things on there. So we'll be able to talk this out pretty realistically probably within the next couple of months. But I think all of those things should be pretty much included in a 1.0 launch. No news on AI blades or NPC crews. Nope. Do I think we'll see a mission payout rebalance with 323.2? The new bounties are really fun, but you're basically not making money anymore. Yeah, it's crazy that they didn't update the payouts in 323. I hope they do it in 323 too. But I don't know if they will. Be very nice if they did. Lee Bob, thank you for the super chat, by the way, with that message. I don't know if I thanked you, but appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. They might just wait for the next update and do all the economic stuff at the same time. It's not feeling the pressure. It's the fact that the devs are back on the block after finishing Squadron. I don't know. Rich talks a little bit more about, like, he's like, we have these things and we've been working with them, and now I really want them to actually start tying together. And I feel like the way they're talking about some systems is moving a lot faster than I thought they would. Do I think we'll have dynamic factions? The players would partake in events between the major factions. Outcome would dictate faction ownership of the system. I don't know. That would be cool. I don't think we'd have that for 1.0, but it would be very, very cool. We got to see how Pyro develops. I think that's the playground for that kind of stuff. If they ever get to the point where, like, space stations are changing ownership. In the lore, Ruin Station is a very fought after asset. But I don't know if they do that dynamically more so than just a narrative tool where they, like, create a dynamic event that leads to the turnover of this space station, and that permanently changes the system until they want to change it again. Dead Leader. Hey, dude. Folks say there's Dead Leader in the chat too. If you don't know who Dead Leader is, shame on you, because he was on the podcast that came out this morning. We talked a lot about starting ships, what makes a starting ship, what the best starting ships are. It's worth checking out. I think it was a decent talk. I don't know, Dead, what do you think? But, you know, I like talking to that guy. Wonder if they're still working on player apartments like they said when they announced it. We were just looking at building interiors, and they were talking about apartment stuff a couple years ago. How many alien species are there in lore? How many do you think we'll see in 1.0? In lore, the talky, chatty, chirpy ones, we would have the Xian, the Vandul, the Banu, the what's their name? The Tavaran, the Kurthak, and gosh, I want to say there was one more. There are a couple underdeveloped species that are, like, under protected space. They're not spacefaring, but apparently they're intelligent. Like, you know, more intelligent than space cows. But I don't know any of those names. I think there are 5. Can't think of any other ones. But somebody can spot me in chat if I forgot. Progress tracker deliverables had no update for 6 months now. Yeah, that's because the next update's going to be the 1.0 progress page thingy. Please tell me I am streaming on YouTube. Hey YouTube, are we streaming to you? Are you there? I think you're there. You're talking. That'd be weird if you guys were just so nicely talking about the same exact stuff as we were, even if we weren't live. You also wouldn't mind if they held off on base building until after 1.0. Really? Yeah, I see you, YouTube. Oh? Wait. No, I'm getting from YouTube that they're not there. This could be a problem. They're really good at predicting the future, though. Wow. Yeah, I think base building's pretty important in game content. Like, people trying to build stuff, you know? I'm trying to make my pizza shack. Will we be able to live on these massive Orgone ships like the Javelin? Like we live on space stations or planets now? I think we will, but I don't know how they're going to treat the spawning of the spaceship. Like, if you live on a spaceship like a Javelin owned by your org, cool. What if everybody else logs out? Does anytime somebody log in make the ship pop back in? In that case, could somebody just kind of troll your whole org by infiltrating and then logging in on all your important ships and getting them blown up while you're not there? So that's one of the areas of the game that is kind of like respawning and logging off, and I don't have any other examples of that, but like the really, really big topics that we don't talk too much about that they have to answer, that sounds kind of hard to answer. But that's why I don't make games. Fox, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Get a little Bravo sticker there. Oh, I know you guys can hear me on YouTube. It's okay. I know you. I get you. How do you watch the podcast? It's on our second YouTube channel. You can either click on the little picture on this stream to go to the main channel, and my other channels are like right there on the page, so you can click their icon, or you can just search for Space Tomato 2 on YouTube, and the podcast will undoubtedly pop up if we named the channel right. I'm pretty sure it's named Space Tomato 2. That's 2 like T-O-O, not the number. How about those little monkey aliens on that dark planet? Oh, in the Constellation trailer? Yeah, I will actually be amazed if those are in the game. Do these aliens also gather on top of tables and couches like the human species does? No, that's specifically human. We only do that because the gravity in our parts of space are so heavy. Helps us feel superior that we can get up on the tables. As a solo player, are you better buying the Galaxy to base build or the small vehicle when it is released? I would probably go with the small vehicle, at least until we know how it all works. Will ships be rebalanced for 4.0 in the style hinted in Engineering AC mode, where Hercules was much harder to kill, seemingly pushing for a disabled and board gameplay? Yes. Star Citizen's goal is to avoid exploding to kill. Not sure if this will pop up when I search this, but yeah, this video is all about the idea of how ship death is supposed to work. I'll drop the link to you guys. It talks about soft death, which is what we have right now, which is ships not dying when they blow up. But the video overall is about how Star Citizen is aiming to have people disable ships rather than blow them up. The idea that death might actually have big consequences to players freaks people out because we run into a bunch of glitches that kill us all the time. We randomly die in our ships all the time from hitting random debris, space station, or getting shot a couple times. And we're encouraged to do a bunch of combat and FPS stuff. The first two are handled by, you know, less glitches, I hope. And also this. The idea that when your ship is damaged, it's not just going to blow up. It's just going to be the parts of the ship that got damaged that'll be damaged. We'll see how successful that is. But that is, yeah, that's the idea with engineering and components and stuff, yeah. How's Turkey? It's lovely. The weather here is fantastic. A bit warm right now, but we good. I enjoy my time here a lot. Base building and crafting are essential for 1.0. They actually give you a reason to make money. They're pretty important. I think they'd be a pretty important credit sink, yeah. Some grand 4X RTS space games usually have a paid barrier you can buy to protect from attacks. Right. I do think that's going to start to be things you do in this game, and I don't think it will just be paid with Thank you very much. UEC. I think that's possible, at least. For the love of CR, all you hope is they give controller some decent support. Seriously. I love the functionality of mouse and keyboard, but a good game controller, oh, it's a blessing to the hands. The old Hanzos. I'm going to let this play in the background for you guys, since it's like building interior stuff. You just posted a video about how they need to make sure it's in 4.0. Make sure what's in 4.0? Base building? Dead leader. Whoa. That's a big call. With the larger ships left out in the game, wouldn't they be persistent so that the different orgs or enemies could attack them at any time? They could do that. We don't know. We do not know. That could be really difficult to handle. But also, really big ships like a Javelin or an Idris, is not many places you can probably store that, right? So capital ships would already be pretty limited in the places they could be stored. So they might have to have some way for them to just persist out there all the time. I don't know. Not all the time, but when people are nearby. All Topics SC. What's up with the way we hold hot dogs in game? Seems like really aggressive, glizzy grip. When you're in space, and you don't get to have much space cow, that one time when you do, you grip it, and you keep it, you hold it until it's in your mouth hole. And then you enjoy it. Because if you don't, somebody else can pull it out of your hand. Don't hate the way I hold my dog. Username, thank you for being a member for 17 months on YouTube, dude. Good to see you, man. You just want your reclaimer to be updated to gold standard. You must scream into the void for Chris to hear your cries of anguish. Poor reclaimer owners have the worst elevator in the game. And it's been the worst for like 6 years. I'm sorry. Ships should rarely blow up, and ground vehicles should basically never blow up. They have it reversed. Really, you really were able to store your suits within your ship's suit locker, since apparently soon armor and suits will matter if you'll fit inside your canopy. To an extent, yeah. Like heavy armor, you won't be able to wear, I think, in the cockpit of most ships, most single-seat fighter ships. Maybe all ships, I don't know. What do I think they'll talk about on CitizenCon this year other than 1.0 in Squadron? I think it'll be 1.0 in Squadron. I think we'll get a lot of near future stuff, but it'll probably be pretty heavily focused on base building, crafting, economy, later game stuff. Raids, narrative stuff, mission givers. A lot more of that content-rich stuff than what we've been getting before. If they continue with the theme. Who knows if they do. I mean, they might ratchet back a little bit and focus mainly on Squadron. So, we'll see. We'll see. Think we are overthinking bed spawning. Let's test a first iteration where, let's say, you can give friends permission to your ship. When someone logs in, player and ship is streamed in. What do you think? I think that could still potentially end up with you logging in and losing a Javelin without having realized it was going to happen. Giving somebody else ownership over the spawn rate of your ship is a big thing to do. So, we'll see what they do. Live in the high-sec sectors and pay your taxes to get protected. Yeah. Oh, ship health rebalancing. I gotcha. Like repair. Do I think... I don't think that will be a full rebalancing in 4.0 Loom. I think that's just the start of it. Do I think we'll have Maelstrom still this year as announced at last year's CitizenCon? I don't think we'll have Maelstrom this year, but I don't think they were trying to do Maelstrom this year. At least from the way they talked about it, I got the impression it was further away than within a year. Finding a good spot to leave your big ships? Maybe. Toes. Have your next partner for the podcast, Billionaire Ninja. Billionaire Ninja? Who's that? Space pigeons will snatch that hot dog if you don't hold on to it with a death grip. Yeah, grip that dog. Ships blow up too easily. They do. That's gonna have to change. Feel like you're going to become a Pavlov dog when they announce it being updated to gold standard. Don't do it, man. You remember when they announced the 600i gold standard? Don't trick yourself. Should CIG focus on implementing armor mechanics before trying to perfect weapon balance? I think they should do whichever one is ready first, to be honest. '24 is going to be 2016, but for 1.0 instead of 4.0, God, I hope not. That'd be awful. 2016 was not fun. I hope it's more akin to 2020 or 2019. Will SC have a subscription model, putting people who don't go down this road in a significant disadvantage? I think it's possible. They have a subscription model already. It's optional. It's not required to play the game. You get little cosmetics for it, access to a couple different things, some of the screenshots every month, stuff like that. I do think that there is a high possibility that they'll tie gameplay mechanics to it, though, in some way. Not in the sense that it'll be like you can only do so-and-so if you're paying a subscription, but maybe it helps out. Hey, that's us. Alright, why don't we just do the old search? When do I think we're going to see attribute points that Chris brought up? I think that'll be closer to 1.0. I don't think that'll be a 4.0 thing. Permissions on ships should be by function. People doing engineering should have permission to use engineering areas, but they don't assign functions to characters. Like, you could be an engineer and still man a turret. So that it would be, I think it would have to be based on character rather than position. Died on a ship and your buddy was trying to fly it back into the space station, but he couldn't hail the space station. It was your ship? That's a bug. It's, I mean, I don't think it's a bug. I think it's a product of the way the system works right now, but I don't believe that's how it's supposed to be. Am I still expecting Maelstrom in 2024? I'm not. You know, you think that MFD update that's coming is going to be a sleeper. People aren't going to see that coming, and man, does it look good. I hope that when they do the MFD updates, they also start taking the time to move up some of the ship MFDs into better views. Or I guess they're giving us key bindings to navigate them better, which is good, because that was one of the best parts of flying in Elite Dangerous, was the controls to just switch between screens. Smooth, especially on a joystick. Do I know where you can find the Black Kit Reclaimer mission? I think it spawns near Microtech, I want to say. I haven't played that one too much. During the Kickstarter campaign, Chris Roberts promised no monthly subscription fees would ever be part of the game, but things have changed for sure. Not sure how much paint they can sell. I don't think that they will require the subscription to play. I think they just tie some stuff to it. Billionaire Ninja does some content about Star Citizen. He's starting, but he's very productive. He already made tons of videos. He's funny. Think you could have a good conversation with him. We'll keep him in mind. Thank you. Being able to push the MFD screens to our helmet HUD is going to be really cool. That is going to be really nice. I like that. I think that's probably one of the better parts of the MFD update. I just hope that it adds some good functionality to it. Have the devs talked about being able to set personal markers in space to use as nav points or revisit certain spots in belts or moons and such? Yes, we can do that. That's exploration gameplay. Setting custom markers is like the entire backbone of exploration. Oh, you meant the ISC of the Black Kit Reclaimer mission? I don't know which ISC that was. I'm sorry. Aliens Week next week? I think so. Yeah. Hopefully they add keybind search feature since they're adding that many key bindings. The key bindings menu is really bad. It's so hard. It's so freaking... There's so much. It's overwhelming. It's like drinking fire out of a fire hose. I don't want it. They should take some events from Space Void game, making superficial damages in the ship that need to be repaired. Destroyed panels, electricity, sand, fire hazards would make engineering fun. I'm sure we'll get that kind of stuff. You have to go on board a ship that's been broken down and abandoned and get it started back up, power up the components, do some repair, find out that there's some alien stalking the halls of this derelict ship, take it home with you, cause an infection, spend the rest of your years fighting off this infection as it takes over a planet that you infected. Everybody else is just playing Star Citizen, you know, just chilling. Star Citizen, since PES, once backend is more stable, has a lot of room for microtransactions as alternative to subscription model. If they pick just one, I would be very surprised. I actually caught up to chat. Jesus. You do think there will be monthly subscriptions to pay for playing? Wow, like in WoW? CIG need to pay for server costs after all, and for that a steady monthly subscription is the best. Paying for playing though, that is not that. I don't think that would be good. That would be incredibly bad for this game. Just because of the actual visuals of it, the look of going through all of this for the funding and then switching over to a subscription model to require people to pay to play would be bad. Especially because there's no way they stop ship sales. At least of some ships. I hope it's like sub $100 ships, just the starting class of ships, but we don't know what they're going to do. But they won't stop selling ships. That's why micro matters. They could sell lots of small cosmetic stuff for the ships and characters. I do think we'll get that too. Independent servers that organizations and individuals could get. I think if they start splitting off the PU into different servers, that will not benefit the game very much. Might benefit the engine, might benefit CIG, but I don't think it would benefit Star Citizen. They could give people their own private servers in Arena Commander though. Think they will ever let us paint our ships? Or do you think they will keep it locked to the pledge store? I used to think they would let us paint them. But they never quite changed their skin system to just be designs as opposed to also the paint, and now they just sell us one paint. It's like a paint, like a skin. So I don't see how they could ever switch away to let us paint our ships now that they've put all those on the market. It's unfortunate. He has to see how much the monthly cost will be before he really weighs in on subscriptions. Until then, it'll always be a big no from Tomato. Do you think they'll have to revisit the idea, though? I definitely don't yet. I don't think specifically paying to play. That's a no for me, like permanently. Optional payment for other things, I'm not a big fan of it, but I can see that being a more reliable source of income. That is still valuable to the players to the point where players would want to get it. The amount of gameplay focused stuff they put behind that kind of thing would really define, I think, what the public opinion of this game is. You don't want it to look like a mobile game, you know? You have people who become, you know what, I think Chris talked about that in the initial video of like the idea that people wouldn't be citizens. You'd either have to like buy it or do the Squadron 42 campaign. Let me see if I can find it on here. The universe. Tell us, Chris. Tell us.
What I'm building, the Star Citizen and the Squadron 42 combination, you essentially have both things available to you. So Squadron 42 is the sort of single player experience where you are getting missions. You're in the military, so it's not that open world because you're going to be going AWOL if you decide you want to go off to some other planet. So the idea of it is you serve a campaign, you fly missions, it's branching just like Wing Commander was, and you have exactly that Wing Commander experience with the added bonus of some multiplayer and your friends be able to sort of co-op play with you as wingmen when you fly your missions. But when you finish your tour of duty, you muster out and you're in the wide universe, and then it's open world. You can go where you want, do what you want, choose who you want to be. And the other thing that's nice about this is you don't have to do Squadron 42. You can get into the Star Unit. You can basically decide you're never going to go fight in the military. You can decide that I'm just going to be a merchant or I'm just going to be a pirate.
You can tell he's talking about the game in a slightly different sense. It sounds like they were more connected at that time. It was a slightly different concept at the pitch.
What we're talking about here has everything that made Wing Commander great and has everything that made Privateer and Freelancer great. It basically has both things, and the single player sort of military campaign side sits inside this whole universe in a holistic fashion. The idea is that it should be dynamic. So I've talked about a sort of the universe being a living entity and something that's always changing, and it's going to change based on the player's actions. So things that players do will have an effect on the universe, and they'll also be able to become part of the universe. So a good example is, say, a player that's an explorer and they explore around enough time and they find a space anomaly and then they manage to navigate a jump. That jump point and the system that they've jumped into will get named after that player. So like that player becomes part of the history and lore of the universe. And on top of that, we're going to be dynamically adding content to these universe. I'm not interested in having yearly updates. We'll have a team of people that are adding content on a weekly, every 2 weeks basis.
There's the thing I was talking about.
You start in this system and you start in the game.
Where's the thing about the citizenship?
Building games. I'll just climb into. So if you issue a command, is because I think that helps with the immersiveness. About 100,000 faces, which is about 10 times the
scale
onto the flight deck. And as you can see, it's huge. The carrier that's in the prototype level is about 1 kilometer in size. It's full of activity and spaceships and people.
Okay, I'm done looking for it. Somewhere in there he talks about the idea of earning a citizenship, which I always thought was funny. Why no in-game paid commercial, just billboard off real world things? That's what people have said. Like if we start seeing real world ads in space, like on space stations and stuff, would that pay? Which would be funny. It'd be cool to have some basic modding and custom theaters of war servers. Definitely like let the people go wild in Arena Commander. How cool would it be if we got Star Citizen's version of Forge, Halo Forge? Helston Coop, thank you for the membership, dude. 42 months. Chilling here, modding on YouTube, but also helping us with the org stuff, community, being active, man, being a friend. Thank you throughout all these travels. Hanging out. Did audio cut out? I don't see it. I don't see no audio cut. All these camera angles are making me look short today. I don't appreciate that. Do I think Chris will be playing his own game after release? If yes, what game loop will we catch him in? Nah, I think he'd probably be playing GTA 8 when it comes out. Do I think there will be tomatoes for the 1.0 release? We have to have some kind of tomato, right? I'm pretty sure there is kind of a fruit that looks like a tomato in game. What was the name of the first player to jump to Pyro? Mr. Trash? I believe it was, yeah, Mr. Trash. Since it seems like the Idris is completed, do you think they will be releasing it to the players around 4.0? If not, why would they hold off? Squadron 42. They can still tie your character directly to Squadron. You just play Squadron first and then put your character in PU. Absolutely. I think Chris intends for us to do that for sure. Do we still believe having a more than one game package will give us NPC or AI blades? I don't know. I don't know about that. Do you think AI blades will come in before player-owned NPCs? Do you think NPC crews will be part of 1.0? Do you have an opinion on how many player game packages may affect? Hey, that's 3 questions. I think that we will have NPC crews by 1.0, yes. They are already testing NPCs' abilities to do a lot of the actions we do, like unloading ships and stuff. Besides the navigation links that they'd have to work, the logic to answer players, and then there's also the actor status system for NPCs to make sure that they're fed and slept and all that jazz. They have stuff ahead of them that they'd have to do for NPC crews. AI blades would be easier, I imagine. I don't know which we'd get first, though. Might be that they have to get that kind of stuff working for Squadron anyways. C Creator, you had a 3-hour conversation on this topic? What topic is that? Do I think they will collapse variants in the future, replacing them with customization? Nah, I think they like their variants. What's your most desired feature that was postponed during the development of SC? Oh, God. My most desired feature that was postponed? I don't know which ones are postponed. Most desired feature I've heard of would probably be long distance probing. Honestly, I don't know if that's on its own going to be that fun. No one feature sounds like it's going to be enough for me to bank all my gameplay on. It's more a combination of different things. Daedric, have a good sleep. Thanks for hanging out. Toes. With the 5 planned systems, you hope that doesn't mean they won't include totally virgin systems that's 95% procedurally generated and 5% human polished. I think most of these systems are some 80, maybe 75% procedural and then polished up by the humans, those grubby humans. There will be some pretty empty systems though. Like if you just go to the star map, back out a little bit. Pyro was retconned a bit, but it still was fairly like what they named it as. Nyx itself is kind of barren. Some human stuff going on. But as you start to get out towards the fringes, systems like Min, literally 1 planet and like 4 satellites, there's really not going to be much going on in this system. That could be something interesting to see. And like, you know, you go around all the different systems. Some of them do sound like what you're talking about, but I don't know if it's any of those first 5 systems. Do we know the goal amount of players per server? Chris has thrown out numbers like 1,000 people on Hurston. That doesn't mean one server per Hurston. Could mean 10. We don't know. They want to do regional shards. That's their goal. They want to be able to put everybody in North America on one shard, which is insane. We'll see how close they can get. Have you ever done a Squadron 42 coverage podcast? I've done streams about it and videos, but to be quite honest, my Squadron 42 content is not usually as, I think, interesting to the community as the Star Citizen stuff, just because it's still so nebulous. Nobody still really thinks it's happening. Oh, server costs and subscription model, yeah. It's got to be some kind of... There's no way their subscription that they're doing now is going away, right? Like, they're going to include it. It's just a matter of what they put behind it. You don't know if probing is going to be a thing. Pretty sure the scanning rework is going to function the same. The probing was never supposed to be a rework of the scanning. It was supposed to be an addition on top. Basically the long distance version of the scanning we already do. Want to know when every guy who couldn't get a job at FedEx is finally equipped with one of the endless clunky cargo ships? I almost did start working for FedEx, and then I found out that Star Citizen will have cargo hauling, and I thought, that's so much better. I'm sure I could get paid for that. Right? In UEC. What's my prediction for people per shard in 4.0? Per shard? A few hundred, maybe? I hope that they can reach 400 between Stanton and Pyro, but I don't know if they will. I have, again, nothing to go off of for that stuff. Not sure if someone asked already, but based on what you know about the game and CIG, you think they will do a full wipe because of this dupe exploit happening in 3.23.2? I think they should. I don't know if they will. They don't usually do wipes on small updates. But it's possible, because they also have possibly some big economy updates coming in too. Is there a better name for probing? Long distance scanning, we can call it. First 10 star systems? I don't know, but they're somewhere on this screen right now. We can say that. Did they explain why they showed jumping to Pyro in 2018, but we still might not see Pyro in 2024? Yes, generally the explanation they give is it was not ready yet. They showed it, and then server meshing did not work. What's up with armor racks? Seems like a simple feature since we already have gun racks. Want to know what they have planned since we still can't use them. I have no idea. Good chance that armor needs to have some kind of a fix to make it actually function as a standalone item than just an equipable, and maybe that needs to add it to it. Hello, Bitewell. You think 1.0 will release relatively close after Squadron 42? No, I don't think so. I think I would hope we'd still have at least another year or two after for 1.0, but I don't know when Squadron's coming out. Big feature, even though it's a small update, would be dumb not to wipe. Yeah, there are some big features there. Yeah, Paradox, it's no good. But keep in mind that the rate is not linear. The time it took for them to make Pyro is not the time it'll take for them to make Nyx, or Magnus, or Killian, or Ellis, or Castra. It will continue to improve as their location tech gets better, and especially as server meshing lets them not be stuck constantly doing
Tomato will be with you shortly.
a bunch of optimization. Yo, Mr. Astropub. We got a raid from the pub. I'm blessed. Bless up, everybody.
Oh.
Say big thanks. I don't have a helmet to dance in. unfortunately. Also, I don't think he usually is streaming right now. What are you doing, Paul? What's up? You raid and dash? Did you dash and dine? Can we get a shout out for this guy? All right. Oh, there he is. He said toes. We got toes in the chat. Mini painting. What you doing mini painting? What were you painting, man? Warhammer? Squadron is Navy focused. What other focus among the other arms would you like to see in a distant future as a new single player campaign? To be honest, I would love to see something from like the Exploration Guild, something not military focused. But I wouldn't mind being Splinter Cell in space. The Fez. Yeah, I guess I could get the Fez on. I think if we're really lucky, we might get a beta around the same time as Squadron dropping. That'd be very lucky. You imagine armor racks would come with ship reworks and more complete physicalization? Definitely, I think now that we have life support, they're going to need to start getting armor racks and stuff like that working. You were painting orcs? Are there orcs in Star Citizen? Can confirm. Next week, you're doing Star Citizen Privateer. You're going to play Privateer? Dude, that's sick. I have not gotten to play Privateer or Wing Commander or Freelancer or any of those. But that should be fun to watch, man. I'll try and tune in. Next week, you're painting JRDF. Oh, the actual ship. Don't know if it's true, but you've heard Chris is a genius that worked at dev of some feature that are today used in Microsoft Flight Sim. I haven't heard anything about that. You're saying that what you would like is a Star Citizen Privateer. Ah. Honestly, Jump Ship kind of... Was it Jump Ship? Some other game? No, Jump Ship was the co-op one. X4, I think, does a good job. I wish X4 looked a little bit better, though. Do I think server meshing will solve the legacy desync problems of the game? Not at once, no. I think there's a lot of stuff they'll have to figure out as they push out the old code and start to refactor new systems to work with server meshing. That'll get it figured out. Luna Maria, good to see you. Welcome to chat. Morning. What do I think about seasonal events? A zombie planet that appears for Halloween? How about instead of a planet, like a rogue asteroid? And we have to go and mine stuff, but it's infected by zombies. Space zombies. See, like, these kinds of systems would be probably incredibly late game systems. And I don't, like, would Tiber ever be in the game? Look at how far away this is from the current game. How many jump points would it take to get from Tiber to Stanton? Let's see. It's actually pretty easy to calculate this. Tiber. And Stanton. Medium jump points, calculate. No routes? Ah, there we go. 4 jumps. That's actually not bad at all. Where the heck is that route? Wow. 1 to Virgil, from Virgil to Nyx. See, that's sketchy as hell. That's actually incredibly terrifying that we are that close to Vanduul space, 4 jumps away from like one of their bigger systems. That Nyx to Virgil jump is not good news. Large jump points, it would take 8, and small jump points, it would take 4 as well. Interesting. Will there be other civilized species from other planets? Yeah, there's 5 species in the game. Well, planned for the game. Have there ever been discussions of ship AI you can communicate with? Like Cortana? Give you data suggestions and help you perform actions? Nah, that's just like your friend on Discord, you know? Makes you both happy and terrified. Yeah, Paul, that's... Jump point sizes are likely changing. Do you think they'll go harder or easier on the limits for jump points at some point? Whenever they do finally change them. Oh yeah, AI like that are banned in the verse because they were crazy. It's why humans in Star Citizen haven't progressed very far. You think jump points will become stability over sizes? Stability over sizes? $5 for a large ship through a jump gate? Cheap jump gate, man. You trying to come into my Bremen? That's $13, my friend. And that's per hour. You better come and go. I have no idea what the first 10 star systems are. There's a lot of systems to choose from. We can't say Star Citizen fits in the Warhammer 40k timeline. Definitely not, but I think Warhammer 40k is like thousands of years, right? Star Citizen's a little baby compared to that. Cancel my route. How stable a jump point is will determine how much damage you get. Yikes. Castor could definitely be one of the first 5, but hold on, I'm gonna turn on the star maps music because it's pretty nice. Let's see, Castra is here. Does connect to Pyro, but no other systems. I would really want to see Magnus in there. My hope. I know it's not super likely because it is quite a bit of work compared to somewhere like Castra. But it's not that much more work. It's just probably a bigger landing zone. But even then, Castra's got a landing zone too, so who knows? You bet CIG doesn't know the first star systems. Probably not. Wish they would make the planets 1-to-1 size. The planets are already empty as they are right now, but at least you'd get the right feeling of size and scale. Yeah, but 1-to-1 size would be awful for travel. It takes so long to fly places right now. Smaller ships will be less affected by unstable jump points, but all jump points can support all ships. How much, I mean, what kind of damage you talking? Like enough to disable your ship? Or just you just shrug it off because you have to? Did they get rid of the little contact voice prompt when there were new contacts on scopes? I still get them on my ship. If Disney asked for the Star Engine to make a game, that'd be pretty funny. I would hope more likely they would just license it out to CIG. But who knows how something like that would ever work. Earth's soul system will be in the game? Yeah. Earth has been ravaged by a whole bunch of stuff, folks. If you want to learn more about this, can I just say the Astropub in chat is like the place to go. He's like lore god when it comes to Star Citizen. So if you got lore questions, I'd definitely go over to his channel and see if he's got a video on it. But Earth is in the game. It's not as magnificent as you would think, obviously, because a lot of people left Earth and went to other places. But it's the old capital. They've got a couple landing zones planned for it, New York, Moscow, and Shanghai. But yeah, most of the planet's been stripped of its natural resources. I'm pretty sure a lot of it is like just abandoned and not used, barren. Pretty easy to, you know, say that it was burned up and shriveled up. The other planets in the system are settled, but really if you want to know where all the humans are chilling and hanging out and doing their thing, you would want to go over to the Terra system. And what is Terra connected to? None other than Stanton and, wait for it, Magnus. See now, you can't tell me that there's a better situated human system in human space when you're talking about the commercial powerhouse of all humans, and you're talking about the new capital of all humans, and then you're talking about what's the only system that is safe that connects them both. Heyo. The home of GII. Oh, but wait. What other system does it connect to than, the tourism capital of humans? Money to my ears, Magnus. So that's where we are, and I really, really hope they include this in the first 5 systems. But if not, I hope it's number 6 or 7. Trying to get into the 40k books, but not sure where to start. I bet chat can answer that for you. Will there be water planets, and has there, from your research, seen any mention of underwater bases, swimming, or diving mechanics? Yes, on the swimming and diving. I don't know about underwater bases. I want to say, I think it's the Tyrol system? No. No. What is it? Does it start with a C? What's the name of the system? I'm pretty sure I've got it on, at least got a picture of it, but... No, I don't even have a picture of it. Very hard to find system. Gosh dang it, but what is it called? There is a system, I know it. It's got low gravity, or rather planet, not system. It's got low gravity, not very settled. Cano, that's it, thank you. I know it started with a C. The Cano system. We don't really know much about it. This is in fact the only picture we really have that shows us quite the significance of its water features. It's got big ass waves. They gonna f you up. And who knows if this actually makes it into the game, but the lore of the system at least will tell you that it is a big water planet. It's got low gravity, which leads to these large waves, and we can go find it. Let's see. Cano. Cano 1. I don't even know. So Cano is a system. I don't even know what planet it would have been that had that. Can't be that one. That's a bit close to the star. Let's back it up a little bit. Cartenia? Ocean planet. For centuries, geoengineers had tried to terraform this ocean planet with little success due to the difficulty in converting its relatively thick atmosphere. However, all attempts were halted when microscopic organisms were discovered deep in the water, and Cartania was placed under protective restrictions. Seeking to guard the developing indigenous life form, planetary settlements are strictly regulated. Doesn't mean there aren't any, though. They didn't mention anything about the waves, so maybe that's a different planet. Let's see. This is a smog planet. So that's probably not it. I think it was Cartagena. I'm guessing is the ocean planet we're looking for. Pox here is a gas giant. Yeah, so here is at least one ocean planet we know about. It is in the Cano system, which how far away is that from current game? Actually, not far. 2 jumps. Cano system is connected to Pyro. Doesn't mean that they will go directly to it, but if you're looking at the ring of systems around Stanton that could develop, depending on which direction they go, Cano is kind of in that second ring. But that still could be like 8 years away. We don't know what the whole difference of that's going to be. Astropub, you got a GoXLR Mini now? That GoXLR Mini Club. Welcome, dude. They're good fun. Don't you love the cough button or bleep button, whatever it's called? Yeah, it's like Interstellar. That reminds you, do you think we'll see actual boats or ships like the one shown in the Squadron 42 trailer? Yeah, I think we'll have boats in the game. Thinking far in the future here, but imagine surfing gameplay. Is there any exotic systems like binary stars or planets around black holes? Yes. Yes, there are. I believe... I think the Banshee system is binary. No, single star. Geez, which ones? Hades? Single star. Tamza is black hole. Baker is binary. Isn't there a tri-star system? There's Baker. Binary system. Only 8 AU big. Yikesies. So here you go. You got a 1-star system here. There's a binary star system that has like it's got a really small star orbiting a really big star. I think that's kind of close to human space too. No idea which one it was though. Baker is rough. What's wrong with Baker? You got a problem with Baker? Bacchus, Gliese, Tyrol? Single star. Man, I wonder what system that was. Everything in the system will kill you and or your ship. All right. Mark that off my list. How far is that from where we are? It's like 3 jumps, 4 jumps. Tamza. What you doing, Tamza? Single star. 304 AU big. Oh my god. What? Oh, definitely a single star system. Oh, this is the one you already said, Pub. Yeah. Dude. Holy crap. Like, how long would this take? I guess you wouldn't really want a quantum jump over here. Because look, this is the Oort cloud, right? Like, that's already a massive space, and then you're going this far out for the planet. And then your jump point's way out there. Obviously, that can move based on this whole... All of this can change based on the game, but Jesus, 304 AU is crazy. We'll never see 4 or 5 planets before they close off the servers? What do you mean by that? Systems? Close off the servers how? Like, stop making the game? I think we'll see Planet Tech V5 by the end of this year. Probably in whatever update's coming at the end. 4.1, hopefully. Maybe 4.0. Check out Ellis. I love Ellis. Ellis is my favorite system. Beautiful place. The head of tourism in the star system. It's got a ton of planets. Absolutely massive. 104 AU. Which is like, I think, 25 times larger than Stanton. Just an absolute ton of stuff to see here. Then you get to that inner system. You got a huge green band with 3 different planets in it. This could be tons of settlement, tons of trade, cargo hauling. This is where the biggest races in the human space occur. Big tournament occurs here, the Murray Cup. In fact, you can race on, I believe, this planet in Arena Commander. The planet with the floating city stuff. It's one of the race courses in Arena Commander. That's right here. Oh, I didn't even see how far away Tamza 2 was. Do you think release gate camping will be common like an EVE Online? No, because the way that you jump out of jump points is in very different locations. So somebody will be out here, somebody else might be a million kilometers the other direction, kind of thing. Maybe not a million, but some amount. Some systems are quite barren. Do you think they'll start to release systems at a regular cadence post 4.0? I think post 1.0. Xi'an and the Kyukya system. Kyukya. Where is Xi'an space? Oh, over here. Binary star system, yeah. There it is. That's such an interesting... Like, look at this little guy. He's a little guy. It's like, don't be mean. I'm just over here kind of heating up a couple of planets, okay? Don't have to do all the stuff you're doing. Vitones, thank you for the super chat. Will CIG have servers in South America region? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if they would include all the Americas or do South and North America. That's a good question. You think that GII will be able to control a planet or moon? I think we'll have a fairly large swath of space, yes. You watched mine and Paul's podcast about the systems yesterday? Oh, that's from a day ago. A little while, huh? Post 1.0, we are going to get a bunch of the empty systems like Hadrian. Super dense little guy. We love a dense star. Bless up. They promised this many systems. They promised this many systems when we couldn't land on planets. That is a entirely different shift in this game. Think about it. Think about the difference between if Mass Effect had launched with all of the planets in that game actually being able to be landed on, not in just preset locations, but anywhere. How much longer Mass Effect would have taken to make. That's true for any game too. Starfield, they figured it out. We see how that goes. That is not something that CIG wants to do. They want to make each planet actually matter. So when they got the ability to make planets landable, the idea of 100 systems, I think for most people went out the door. They obviously can still try to flub it some way and try to make it happen. I hope that they don't feel like they are held to that number because it's just these systems are entirely different than what they proposed. But I don't expect to get all these. I really don't. I hope we get half of this. I think planets will orbit their stars. They're supposed to. We're supposed to have seasons. Hopefully that's not too difficult to do, though. Do I think we'll have massive planet that was extremely high gravity? Yeah. There's differing gravity on different planets. Yeah, when Star Citizen was more like what Starfield is. That's a good example. It was really supposed to be like what Starfield is right now, but as an MMO. The idea was that you were... Actually, we can just look this up. Hold on. Pretty sure that would be... Let's see. Star Citizen. I don't even know what the video was called. Yeah, what CitizenCon was that? 2013? 2014? 2014. Check this out. This is what the game was supposed to look like initially. Lag and all. Okay, I'm gonna skip us forward to like the actual important part. So you were able to get on the ships. Golly gee though, look at the graphics back then. They're showing off how you're supposed to be packing cargo, which we're literally just now getting. Like, how nuts is it? Can we just all take a second and think about the fact that this is being shown as like a proof of concept, and the graphics are this bad because it's taken this long to get to the point where we can now actually do that with our cargo. Freaking nuts. This is 10 years ago. Hold on. Can you stop? Thank you. I'm sorry, I don't know where they talk about seasons in the game. I just have some of the footage saved on my computer. Man, the use button. The traumatizing use button.
ArcCorp Tower. This is commercial vessel Calypso requesting EDL assistance.
Thank you for contacting Landing Control. Entry, descent, and landing procedure initiated. Assuming navigation control. Entering target screen.
So then you get a cutscene, and now you're down in the city, but you can't just fly around the city. You would still be locked into a very tight path. In fact, I don't even think you have control of the game at this point. Yeah, no control here.
Area 18. ArcCorp.
This is not what they want to do. This was the concept 10 years ago when they said they wanted to do 100 star systems, and this is why. Because they weren't going to allow you to do all of this sort of transitioning between planets and star systems and having everything be no loading and all one thing, you know? It was going to be cut up into different modules like this that were packaged, a lot like most space games do. This was part of why the initial release dates for this game were a lot earlier, because this kind of stuff would take a lot less. Not you know, I don't think it would have been out in 2014 like they wanted it to. But it wouldn't have been like it is now. That's for sure. So I think that their goal for how many cities they want to give us is different than this is. No, this isn't Starfield. This is that's old Star Citizen. At the most basic level, Star Citizen was originally an idea for Chris Roberts to create a pseudo-sequel to Freelancer. Yeah. I still feel like it's a spiritual sequel to Freelancer, though. That's why we have landing zones and not cities. I didn't know that. Squadron was planned at that point, yes. Yeah, as a project, that made more sense for a company like CIG to build something like that and then go off and make actual Star Citizen they wanted to do, but they just kind of were like, look at all the money, let's just try and do it all in one go. You've seen how that's gone. Probably actually shorter than if they had done 2 different games. What I mean by 2 different games is like one small game to prove the concept and then another game to build off that and build what we're getting now instead of just trying to build what we're getting now. What a rough freaking ride it's been though. Oh boy. Freelancer 2 was what SC was originally going to be, which is what Starfield kind of is. Best use for a Freelancer right now would probably just be cargo hauling, I guess. They still have basically ended up making Squadron and porting it over to SC. That's true. They still got the 2 games. Will I stream CitizenCon? I'm planning on being there. I'll probably do some stuff while we're there. But we'll be doing a lot of community-focused things at that time with the garden for anybody who's coming to CitizenCon with us, and doing a little bit of light coverage ourselves as well. Jaybird, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. You refunded Starfield halfway through download? Did you not even try it? Honestly, I still enjoy Okay. Mrs. Tomato's gonna call me out because I haven't played Starfield in months. I like Starfield for what it is. Like... Okay, not gonna lie. I've actually gotten back into Cyberpunk more. But Starfield's a cool game. It's just... I think it would have been a cooler game a few years earlier. But also with... it's just missing some things, man. Like, when I think of Bethesda game, I'm thinking of like really deep character connections, you know? And like super good writing and stories, and the cities and the world feels incredibly lived in. And I don't know if I got that with Starfield. What about Star Atlas? You're introducing too many stars into my life now, okay? Stick to 1. Or maybe 2. Possibly 3. You haven't touched Starfield in months either, but that's because they haven't dropped the modding tools yet. Sounds like there might be DLC in the works too. What am I expecting for CitizenCon this year? I think they're going to dive a little bit more into late game content now. Not in the sense that they actually are releasing it, but that they're going to talk more about it, base building and stuff like that. Bethesda and good writing, man, I had a blast with Oblivion's writing and quests. I don't... Maybe in the recent years, since like Fallout 76 and Fallout 4, it hasn't been great. But I still think of... I know it's a different Bethesda. I know they're making different games. Everybody's different at this point. But like, Oblivion was a big game for me. A big... I remember a lot... I don't remember a lot of it, actually. I remember the feelings it gave me. Just like... Just a solid video game. Last Bethesda game you thought was good was New Vegas, and they didn't even make that. Yeah, another direct competitor does. It'll be interesting to see how Outer Worlds 2 compares to Starfield now. You know people will be lining them up. You think CIG never ever implement idle comms chatter, or at least ATC comms to make the verse seem more alive? I certainly hope so. I think we should be seeing some of that. I always say Elite Dangerous did that with just text, and it was really good. If they could do that with audio, I'd be very satisfied. It is a failure of potential, Pub. I can agree there. What that game could have done for the space genre, I do think it helped the space genre, for sure. Probably in ways it didn't intend. But it could have been a huge boon for space games. Kind of in the way that Cyberpunk is for Cyberpunk games. I don't think that Starfield will make the recovery Cyberpunk did. Cyberpunk also, in my opinion, came out and was a bit different than what they advertised it as, but it still got great bones. Starfield, I don't know. You played Starfield for 300 hours, but you hit a brick wall with the game-breaking bug and had to quit. I had a game-breaking bug at one point. Not game-breaking, but I guess mission-breaking, and it was wiped out like a good 40 minutes of play. With Bounty Hunter 2.0, do I think bounty hunting is going to shift from more dogfights to more bunker raiding? Yeah. I just made a video about that, actually, on the channel. But yeah, Bounty Hunting 2.0 is a complete change from just killing people in ships. How does Starfield compare to Outer Worlds? It's definitely bigger. Outer Worlds has a AA game feel to it, although I think it is an incredible experience. Still pretty good. It's definitely smaller than Starfield, which makes sense. Obsidian is not funded quite like Bethesda is. Now they're under the same roof again, though. That's interesting. Would you say Cyberpunk is a good fallback substitute game for Star Citizen to shake things up? I would say long-term, Jump Ship looks like a pretty solid substitute to Star Citizen. When you're like not wanting to jump into a game like SC, Jump Ship looks really good. X4 is a solid choice. Elite Dangerous, of course, is up there. I was hoping Starfield would be the one, but man, they just feels a little disconnected. It was inspired by the hype surrounding pre-release No Man's Sky. Right, because we started hearing about Starfield around like 2013, 2014, huh? Although they say that it's something they've wanted to build for a while. I'm guessing Todd wanted to build a space game, but yeah, that No Man's Sky hype helped to push it in a certain direction. Obsidian and Bethesda are both owned by Microsoft. Astropub, my friend, Paul. I think we can all agree now in the gaming industry that if you are a game studio owned by Microsoft, then the other game studios owned by Microsoft are now your competitors because you don't want to get the axe. And it sucks that that's where we are now. That really freaking sucks. Super, incredibly, unbelievably disappointing how Xbox Studios has been treating their properties and IPs. God, it hurts, man. I say that as somebody who has Master Chief tattooed on their arm. It sucks. But like, if Outer Worlds 2 came out and it did worse than a Starfield DLC, they probably wouldn't be able to continue their franchise, right? When you're not talking, the stream is silent. When you talk, there's static in the background. That's my fan. It's very hot, so you can kind of hear my fan back there. And then it cuts off because of the noise gate. Try Starfield again with some of those options changed. Much better game now. I probably should play on PC and mod it. Doesn't really feel like the full Squadron team has hit their stride yet. The big patches are mostly SC specific tech. Do you think that will happen? I don't think we're going to see the full effect of that until after 4.0. I'm thinking that they're doing their work right now. Somebody was in chat. One of the devs was in the chat a couple weeks ago. Great talk. Fantastic people. I love that they dropped by. I appreciate the hell out of that. I think it builds a lot of rapport with the community. And it just helps it to keep that kind of community feel. CIG has become really big. They are in corporation mode at this point, and it is very nice to still see the devs coming around. And one of them was here in the chat talking about how, you know, they are past whatever's happening with 3.23. They're not doing 4.0. They are working on post 4.0 stuff. And I think that's probably what most of those people who have come over and either right away got started on that or after 3.23 got started on that. What are my 3 systems I'd like to see in the game after Pyro? Ellis, Magnus, and Terra. Those are the 3 I'm most interested in. And no, that's not just so that it creates the triangle around Magnus. I just like those systems. What a beautiful triangle it is, though. Base building before 2030. Hell yeah. Honestly, if they said, okay, you can go out onto the moon and create a planted version of whatever it is that's in the Vulture, so that you can just craft very basic items. That's base building. It's not building a whole base, but it is the basic format of building bases, and I think they could get that within the year. Outer Wilds is 100 times better. It's beautifully written and constructed. It is a beautiful game, but I don't think it would be a good substitute for Star Citizen. It's a bit in its class of its own, no? Could Star Citizen be the first quintuple A game break? Break all the AAA and quadruple A. It's a double AAA game. 6 A's. So many A's in this game. You love the game, but every update brings more bugs, so stop playing for now. Hope they actually start to address the bugs. They address the bugs. Bugs come back. They don't address all of them, though. I think they leave a lot of them until the system that the bug is in can be replaced. It's noon where you are, so it's like dawn wherever I am. It is not dawn here. It is dusk. The sun is down. It is currently 8 p.m. in the morning. Or... well, f*** me. I guess it's getting a little later than I thought. It's 8 p.m. in the evening right now. Okay, I'm way behind on chat. Let me catch up here. When No Man's Sky hype was going on, Todd was asked his opinion about it in an interview, and he said, we could make something like that with procedural generation. Oh boy. When do I think the Raylan will be released? Next year, I hope. Once you know who Outer Worlds was made by, and view it as a corny 90s RPG with modern gameplay, you'll appreciate it differently. Hope the idea of going out to dead space, being able to set up some ships and calling it home. Oh, you can do that. I think they'll make that very easy. They're like, yeah, let that person stay out there. They're not lagging up the inner system. Surprised that they leave so many bugs in the daily player loop experience. Refueling, repairing, missions, prison system issues. They've only just this year, maybe a little last year, started to get to the point where they're trying to improve the actual player experience in a big way. Up until now, they have not had enough employees to do the fixing of systems. Just make them. Make them, put them in, make them viable in some way, and ship them out. Honestly, though, there are a lot of things that remain broken or are broken that like just basically mean we can't test features, and I think those should be fixed, but I just don't think they have the employees for them yet. They have a lot of employees. It's just too much in this game. There's like too much they're trying to do. You and your 5800 X3D are quite happy. That chip runs the game quite well, yeah? Right, Cops, you might take a break. I think this is a good time to take a break. I think after 4.0, it might be harder to do so. The development will be more interesting by then. What's up, Dash Pilot? Welcome to the live. Just waiting for the game to be in a great spot and Chris to say, let's let players build their own space stations. Oh my god. I think mid-sized ships will make for decent homes in space once 4.0 hits. To some extent, yeah. But you're going to have to be visiting space stations and stuff over time. I don't think there will be enough storage to keep you out for like as long as, say, a larger ship like a Connie or a 600i or Caterpillar, but you could stay in your Zeus for probably a little while, yeah. You have habitation, cooking, beds, cargo, space, protection, everything you need. My hope is that you won't have to touch a space station for weeks on end when you're playing this game. You could just live out of your ship wherever you want, logging on, logging off, exploring the verse, coming across random things in space. Just had to have a lot of random things in space. You've been passingly interested in Star Citizen since 2014. That's a while. Only just recently had a PC that could run it, and only just this last ILW did finally get in the game. I originally built my PC for Star Citizen, though I did say it was for The Witcher 3 at the time. And I'm glad I did. This game got me into PC gaming. I'm not a mouse and keyboard player. You guys can see it when I'm flying. But I will gladly switch the computer for something like this. I'm trying to get dual flight sticks too, Jabberwocky. What map is this? This is the Arc Star map. Very easy to find. Just type in Arc Star map on Google and it'll come up. Seems like you joined at a terrible time on the micro scale, but a great time on the macro scale. ILW this year is kind of rough. Honestly, the game plays better, in my opinion, than it ever has, but the stability is very hit or miss right now. But yeah, we're pre 4.0 right now, which is a very good time to be getting in. Think they should get rid of persistence of trash like soda cans and coffee cups. But I want to find my coffee cup in the forest, Retro. You remember it as a space sim with cool hangars, which was all you wanted, but then it became all this other stuff, and it's still somehow awesome. I think it was a natural progression to this. The way that they talked about the game back in 2013, 2014 kind of included a lot of the stuff that's in the game now. It's just, it doesn't really get extrapolated till you get down to the details. And then there were the stretch goals. That's a different story. Hype for 323 died fast. It really did, which is sad because I love it. I'm still not crazy about playing the game. But the patch itself, I think, definitely started a big shift for the game. And I'm looking forward to how it continues in 4.0. Free coffee. If I liked coffee, that'd make me super excited. Realistically, they need to despawn medical gowns. Hey, I collect those. They sell really well after you saved the first 8 dozen. I almost bought a gun after I sold them all. Most you saw hyped for 323 wanted the map and cargo hangar stuff. Since they delayed the parts other than map, you feel many felt meh. Yeah, a lot of people wanted the cargo stuff. That's what got them excited. I'm mostly pumped for just the overall in-goodening of the game. Obviously, some of the stuff is still not quite where we want it. Some of it was subjective in terms of how good you might think it is. I just like that. Definitely FPS feels a lot better. Most logical implement feature after 4.0. Base building. What do I think Star Citizen Year 20 will look like? I think we'll actually be playing the game by then, which would be nice. Did they push back point 2? I don't think it's in Evocati testing just yet. Wow, Stanton is actually fairly disconnected from other systems around it. Interesting. Cat Solary, how you doing? Mousepad still going? You still got the tomat on there? Appreciate it. How have you been? SC has tons of cool features and game loops, but they're all like islands in a big ocean. Yeah, they are. The day things are connected as a whole, that's when SC will be great. Well, I mean, maybe if I could refuel my friend for starters would be prime. Jabberwocky, you started in 3.16, so not too long ago. Biggest problem you have that isn't likely to go away for years yet is the wipes. Yeah. Gate camping won't really be a thing because you get spit out of jump points in different locations. So it won't all be one place people can target you. On the way out of the systems, I don't know about Pyro, but at least the other star systems will have a bunch of checkpoints and security places there. I imagine the Pyro one has some too. 60 years down the line, do I think we'll be able to play Star Citizen 2 with our minds like a Black Mirror episode? Hey, maybe it'll still be Star Citizen. Everybody's telling me my grandparents will be the one, or my grandkids will be the one playing this game. Hyper Elysian, good to see ya. Welcome in. I'll let this play in the background. How do I think distance systems will become for people who are not playing in a big group? It's going to be, well, it depends on how safe the system is, but it'll definitely be a more risky endeavor to be out there in a smaller ship. I think that's a special type of gameplay, though. Your own personal ship out there lost in the distance, not really anything that you're familiar with around you. That sounds fun. Bed logging for teammates coming back with 4.0? Maybe. Sounds like they're trying to make logging in possible everywhere, though. These are prime graphics. Ah, the head bobbing. That was such a thing earlier on in the game. If you thought Master Mode's debate went on for too long, I'd like to introduce you to the 6-year argument about head bobbing in this game. Holy crap. Think something uniquely wrong with the PU right now? I've heard it's not doing very well. Refueling better be fixed for Pyro. They said that was the reason they were working on it. Is there a calculator to determine how much food and water you need when traveling system to system? Not quite yet. Maybe once they start finalizing that stuff more. Look at how stiff he is in his shoulders. Is that how you walk around your mother? Oh my god, this video lagged so hard. This is not the first gameplay demo, but this was the first one that was supposed to show off landing zones. We were watching it earlier because it shows off what they originally wanted to do when they planned 100 systems, which was to have this sort of Starfield-like approach the planet and land via like the computer-controlled game rather than flying down yourself. Do I think that CIG will be able to finish the ships they showed at last year's CitizenCon to be released in the next 12 months? Sounds like the Legionnaire maybe not, but the other ones, yeah. Squared up. He's like, you trying to fight? I just stepped into this alpha for the first time. I'm trying to fight. Fists up. What do I think will be announced at CitizenCon this year? Squadron 42 release date. Character was a bot asset. Will we ever get back those holographic landing assists? Yes. Yes, we will. They have been very, very vocal about the fact that those will be coming back. None of this was gameplay. Like, you'd just have to sit through all of this, and then you could finally get off the ship yourself. This was 2014, this was released. The good old use button. We could have had Starfield way back then. Yeah, kind of. I mean, it is similar to how a lot of space games did, or still do the game, you know? Outer Worlds did it like that. Interestingly, it looks like the new Star Wars game, Star Wars Outlaws, is going to have a more involved method of flying out of the planets. It doesn't look quite like what Star Citizen does, but it does look like it is made to make you feel like you're flying out and into the atmosphere, which is cool. I like to see more inventive ways to get around that and make it feel more immersive. Halo when? Streaming or playing? I'd pick base building, Ryan. The idea of this game being a space sim with people in a social space is low-key a little bleak compared to what we are going to end up with. Bleak? Base building needs to be slowly implemented by adding camping and surface survival first. Campsites will be easier to implement and less painful to lose. Yeah, I think something small like that is a good starting point, Deno. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Appreciate it. There will be a future version of the Sol system, yeah. Confirmed. Is my Twitch name Space Tomato? I think it's Space Tomato Gaming on Twitch. Anywhere to buy the Retaliator modules in game? No, I think that wouldn't be until the next quarter. If they do that. I don't know how they're going to handle it. Isno, thanks for the membership on YouTube. Appreciate you gifting that out.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, to Unloading Whale, too. What other games am I looking forward to? The new Star Wars game in development. Looks like it's a ways away. Looking forward to the new GTA. I'm really hoping whatever project comes out of CDPR is looking really good, whether it's The Witcher or Cyberpunk. I think they're working on something for The Witcher right now. Ara from Microsoft. It's a RTS game. Looks pretty good. Outlaws is looking kind of cool. I'm hoping. I was talking about Eclipse, but I also am interested in Outlaws. Then there's another space sci-fi game that's being developed by a couple folks. I don't remember where they're coming from, but they're developing a game that's kind of playing with the idea of time dilation. Some previous Mass Effect devs, I think. Should be interesting. And I've been waiting for that Perfect Dark reboot for a long time. Don't know where that is. I think Squadron 42 is still supposed to be 3 episodes, yes. They've only been focusing on the first one so far. Oh yeah, the Altars sounds a little interesting. And I know there's some other games that I'm not thinking of right now. Little ones, you know, there are games that are like, they've been announced and then just kind of shushed for a few years. We know there's good stuff on the horizon, just probably can't think of it. You only want Squadron, Star Citizen, and GTA. Everything else is just extra on top, huh? I don't think the Apollo will be out until late next year. Next year at least. Terran 1.0, I'm certainly hoping so. I think so. Yeah, they're episodes, but they're full-on games. Like, it's not like they're splitting up the story. They're just 3 different games. It's planned to be a trilogy. I think Star Citizen's progress will speed up significantly after Squadron releases, but it'll take a couple quarters. And not all at once. Morning, Krykos. How you doing? Jump Ship is a good one to watch, yeah. Agreed. A lot of good sci-fi stuff coming that I think is satisfying. And it sounds like there's a lot of projects being worked on by smaller devs that are looking more and more interesting. AAA gaming is hurting right now. Painful to follow the big publishers. So I'm really happy that we see engines like Unreal and Unity getting to a place where small devs can make some pretty impressive stuff. I'm excited to see other independent companies like CIG or I was going to say Coffee Stain, but I think they use Unreal. Larian, some of the other groups using their own engines and developing that stuff. It's good stuff, but man, it's so disappointing. I used to be a console gamer, so I was like Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, Halo, COD, BioShock, Mass Effect, Oblivion, like those are my jam in like the 2004 to 2010 era. And all of those franchises have gone downhill since then. Every single one of them. Some of them have just completely collapsed in on themselves. Some of them haven't changed their formula in 14 years, 18 years. Some of them are just nowhere to be seen because their project manager went off to make something else. Granted, I am still excited for, what's it called? Judas from Ken Levine, whatever he does. But between all the games that I just named, like how many of them have innovated something in the last 6 years? It sucks. Ubisoft, we were looking at Ubisoft IPs during last stream, I think. And it was just actually depressing to see how many great IPs they've had that have just collapsed. And I wish that the game space for those kinds of things were better, in a better place, not so obsessed with monetization and getting returns, but of just like making good freaking games and selling them to enough people that they just make bank on sales, you know, instead of extra stuff. Ironclad is on a capital ship schedule. I think the Ironclad will be the workup to Kraken, so it'll probably be the first larger Drake ship we see, but they basically confirmed that, right? Yeah, Ken Levine's working on a game called Judas. It just had some previews come out, I think, in gameplay. I would go check it out if you're interested. yeah, business getting in the way of gaming. Seriously, like the way that the industry turned over the last like 16 years is crazy. It all started with horse armor.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming in. This is
Oh,
your
we
captain
got a raid
speaking.
from
Tomato will be
Tom,
with you
bro.
shortly.
I'm about to wrap things up in here. We've been talking about stuff for a good long while. Like, interesting stuff, too. We've been looking at just, oh, man. So, interestingly enough, we just watched how the game was supposed to be at launch. This was when they first introduced us to the new version of the game, when you'd be landing on planets. It was 2 whole years later. But again, this was where everything about Star Citizen shifted. And yeah, this was monumental for the game.
So here we are. This is the upper orbit.
Hey Tom, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey, don't worry, it's fine. You left your wonderful community with us, and I appreciate the trust and rapport. I don't know. I appreciate it though. We'll keep them entertained for at least as long as I am live till we pass them on to somebody who's equally as entertaining. But today has been all talk, man. We've just been talking about Star Citizen, getting into the details. What were you doing? Playing? I have no inside info, Timborghini. Yeah, we can raid into Dora's stream. I like 323. I really enjoy it. I think they did a good job with it. It's definitely started to get the game feeling more real. It hasn't changed it to the point where I'm like, every week I'm excited to get back into it, but I can feel it starting, for sure. Imagine crashing on a garbage planet with trash mountains, catching fire and toxic rivers, and being able to craft and repair your ship. I think that should be a mission in the game, or at least that should be gameplay. They should really focus on survivability gameplay and tie that into the gameplay surrounding capital ships, escape pods, and distress beacons. I think that if you are out in a very wild, off the beaten path place, you should have the risk of crash landing on a planet and needing to stay there for a little bit. Would be cool to see some interesting collabs once 1.0 hits. Imagine hunting a xenomorph inside of an abandoned capital ship. That would be sick. First half you were in AC, second half in the PU. Which was more fun? Is AC running pretty smooth right now? So this is literally the first time ever the public is seeing a planetary landing in Star Citizen. It didn't happen until 2016.
And as we get down into the atmosphere, it switches to a more atmospheric flight model. So there is drag, there is some small amount of...
AC is a joke, but it's the only way to practice dogfighting. Man, why doesn't AC just run well for us yet?
Like the Gladius, you'll fly better than something like the Aurora. So here we are. And anywhere on Del Mar, we could land, get out, and walk. So as we fly down here, perhaps, Chris, we could demonstrate and just land and get out somewhere, wherever you want.
This was crazy in 2016. Now this is nothing. At this time, we had also been hearing about planetary procedural generation. They'd been talking about it for a while, saying they want to do it, they're working with it, they're seeing if it'll happen. They've kind of got it working, they want to get it to 3.0, and then we found out it was going to be in 3.0, and they started to show us this stuff. And this was crazy. Listen to how crazy the crowd goes with this.
Chris is bringing us down. And then let's go to Glenn's view, Jared. That's perfect. There we go. There we go. Beauty.
Can we just look at that freaking ground texture? It's like oatmeal. It's the first time it ever happened. Can't get back in. That was a common problem. Catch you around, Tom. Thank you so much for the raid, buddy.
That's gonna be a challenge.
I'll see you later.
See, we did land everywhere. Let's see if we can you jump up? I don't know if we'll be able to do it. Let's see. Jump. Jump. All right, okay. Chris is gonna have to land somewhere we can. He'll move a little bit so he can get in. All right.
This was like the focus for such a long time of the advertisement, just showing us that planets were possible. Like this whole demo, this was about planets as well. You go to CitizenCon 2017, this whole demo was about planets and the ability to build out cities on them. You go to Gamescom 2017, I believe. Is this the one that took place on Daymar? Oh, this is the one where you do the mission. All of it was just about planets, demos. This one was the one where they whipped out the Idris.
Hey, Melissa. What? Let me out.
I think this might have been the first. I think this was the first convention or like Star Citizen demo that I ever watched with Mrs. Tomato, if I'm not mistaken. It's where it all started. But yeah, they brought out the Idris, and then they had this really awkward. Oops. They had this really awkward moment where they tried to drive the Ursa on board, and it did not work out. Classic Star Citizen here.
Never done this before. Let's see how it goes.
That's not gonna be good.
They're like trying not to show the glitches. They're like, show the people flying around. Don't forget about the Ursa.
Third time's the charm.
All right, let me line this up again. Here we go.
Boom.
Almost. So much sand. Here we go. No.
And destroyed. The wheel tumbling away is just fantastic. But yeah, these demos, these are live demos they're doing on the stage, and I think it's actually pretty good that they do them like this and just show, at the time, show that they're actually working on it, but also for us now to see just how bad it used to be. Not that this doesn't happen still. But yeah, that was this was 7 years ago now. Our CitizenCon demos are much different than this, much more polished, much more commercialized, but I think less blue skies were gonna dazzle you with stuff, at least the last 2 years. So we'll see how they do this year. Guys, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this Q&A. I did not expect to go that long. A lot of Q's, plenty of A's. I hope you got your question answered if you had one. And if you didn't, jump into Discord. Ask it in there. We've got a cool group of people. In fact, a lot of the people in this chat are members over there. You can limit whatever channels you don't want to see and stick to the ones that you do. A lot of people only have, pets and food channel on there because it actually is pretty nice to see the good food people are eating. But would love to see you on the Discord. If not, I'll catch you on another stream probably on Wednesday. Videos are going up live, as you know, as they do. And yeah, the new podcast came out, by the way, earlier today. It's on Space Tomato 2. It's talking about starter ships. If you haven't joined Star Citizen, this is probably one of the best podcasts we've done for new players. But also, if you've already been playing, this also makes a case for starter ships for people who have been playing the game for a long time, keeping them permanently. Just a good talk with Dead Leader. So I'd check that out if you're interested.
You rock.
Hey,
You know
Isno,
that?
thank you for the super chat on the way out. That's really kind of you. I appreciate that. I will be competing this weekend in a tournament, a Star Citizen tournament, testing out master modes, which I have done very little practice in. Oh boy. If you would like to see me try to shoot some folks, you should be there. I will be competing with Zero State and Dora the Destroyer. I will be sending you over to Dora's stream right now. But if you want to see all three of us teaming up and banging some heads together and hopefully winning a tournament, catch me on Saturday. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty good. Otherwise, thank you all for being here. Again, I hope you had a great time today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it might be. For the rest of your day, enjoy yourself. Eat something good. Talk to somebody you love. I guess go catch the call to prayer. He's given us a little outro here. Appreciate it. Maybe I shouldn't do my own music. We should just let him sing us out. Tomato! Or I mean Fox!
You know
I'm Tomato. Thank you as well for the super chat on the way out. You guys are awesome with the support at the end of the stream. Fantastic people. Lovely community. I'll catch y'all later. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Much love.